This terrifying footage was filmed in an elevator in Chile. Jose Acevedo gets on the lift and presses the button. Little does he know that this will be the ride that changes his life forever. As soon as the button is pressed, the doors violently snap shut and the elevator lurches upwards. Jose knows that something is majorly wrong and immediately presses the emergency stop button. Instead of stopping, however, the elevator climbs even faster. There's literally nothing for the man to do except repeatedly push the button, while panicking as the elevator races up 31 floors in less than 15 seconds. Finally, he begins to swat at every button, adrenaline taking over as he desperately hopes that just one button will work and bring an end to this terrible ride. He is absolutely helpless and appears to be too scared to even scream. Unfortunately for him, the only thing stopping this elevator is the roof itself. The elevator slams into the top of the building at full speed, and inside, Jose's broken body slams against the crumpled walls. He survives somehow, but now he has severe head and leg injuries. Also, the damage to his spine means he is sadly unlikely to ever walk again. Mysterious, unexplained lights were recently sighted over Brazil, just north of Rio de Janeiro. The diagonal formation of strange lights stretches into the night sky and blinks in and out of sight. It's not a constellation because there are no stars in the sky, just these strange, unexplained lights that slowly move to the right and glow a fierce red when the camera zooms in. As the camera moves across the city to show there are no stars, they see more strange lights in the sky, these ones closer to Earth, a large column of lights at 56 seconds that should not be there at all. It looks like it could be a building, but according to them it's not. More lights seem to drop and lower to the ground, but it's too far away to tell. When he zooms out, he is surprised to find most of the skylights are already gone. This happened on June 24th of 2020, and if you're wondering why it was never reported on the news, maybe it's because we were never supposed to find out. Three friends are driving down some back roads late at night when they've caught something on video that has people questioning what was on the side of the road.
Oh no, you don't see that?
Oh my god, what is that?
Don't, isn't it?
Can you hear that growling?
The creature looks at them as they question whether or not it's been hit and needs their help. While it goes deeper into the forest, they feel like they should get out of the car and check to see if it's all right.
God,
Yeah.
I'm really scared. Tom! Where is it? Is it in the bush?
A deep growling sound coming from the woods keeps them from exploring any closer. They are pretty sure this isn't someone's dog, like they thought, but they aren't sure what to do next. That's when the decision is made for them. Run.
It sounds really close. Right, get in the car now, Tom.
The comments and likes for this video were split 50-50 between believers and skeptics. I might have thought this was real if I watched it just one time, but upon closer analysis, it's pretty obvious this was somebody in a creature costume on their hands and knees. When you look at their feet at 22 seconds, there are no claws and you can tell this is a costume that you step into, or at least that's what I think. Tell me what you make of this bizarre encounter caught on a full moon that night. Earl Quest is certain that his mirror in his house is haunted because he is always seeing weird things in it out of the corner of his eye. Finally, one day he's had enough and decides to simply record behind him to figure out once and for all what exactly his haunting mirror is trying to show him. Imagine his surprise when his own reflection turns around. Actually, he isn't surprised at all, and that seems like the strangest thing about this video when you think about it. Most people would drop the camera and run screaming if they saw this, but he just keeps the same face like it's no big deal, which doesn't sound like a realistic reaction to me. This TikTok video well, scary must not be real because he doesn't even so much as look back at his reflection. It's midnight when Sylvia Slarb gets an iPhone notification that someone is at her door. She looks out the window and doesn't see anything, so she goes back to sleep. The next morning, she remembers the incident and quickly checks her phone. This weird shining orb is what her doorbell cam automatically recorded on that night. I have no logical explanation for this aside from a possible insect, but as far as I know, a bug this small and this far away should not be able to trip the sensor. Therefore, I cannot exclude the paranormal as well. In this paranormal investigation at the haunted Honeycutt Farm, Sonny Deeds is given the mark of the devil. They first hear something walking around the farm in the darkness.
What's that? Like walking, right? Fries.
And moments later, Sonny appears to be stung by something, but that something isn't a wasp, it's the devil.
I'm telling you, this is spirit says.
Dude. Something's burning, dude. What? Something's burning me.
Once safely away, he takes a look at the marking.
Dude, here, take my what is burning? Something is burning me.
There's a handprint on you, bro. Yo, I don't even like this, dude. I don't even want to be here. Literally, I do not want to be here right now.
Dude.
It's clearly a handprint, but seems to be burned into his flesh.
Get a shot.
And if that wasn't enough of a warning, maybe this is.
When CJ!
What's that, bro?
Are you with me?
No, I'm outside the door.
Through the spirit box, the demon correctly identifies him.
Tell us who you are. Come forward and speak through this spirit box.
I don't know what they just said.
I don't know what it said in it.
Sonny.
Holy bro.
Sonny looks incredibly disturbed by all of this.
Communicate with Sonny, and clearly, like, the more I look at that on your, what is it, on your ribs?
On my side.
Like right on the side, it's like a clear, like something trying to grab him with their hand.
And as they're gathering their things to leave, the demon lets them know he's still watching.
I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Like the key to...
Does the devil truly live on Honeycutt Farm? I don't know. That burning handprint is proof enough for me. The unliving appears in this live stream. Posted to TikTok by Luckman and Jay. A pair of guys are speaking to the camera when behind them something mysterious photobombs their live stream. The robed figure over the young man's shoulder sports a dark face and a head covering. The boy moves in front of it for a moment, blocking the mysterious being from view. He then moves forward again and the figure has vanished. What is this thing? It almost looks like a statue of the Virgin Mary. But then again, where did it disappear to? I guess we're left with more questions than answers for this video. This terrifying capture is shared by YouTuber Faces of the Forgotten. This is not a video. It's a photograph of the scene of an accident in which an apparition appears above the vehicle and it looks like it's screaming. The YouTuber shares the photograph in question. Some believe it's the screaming soul of the accident's victim. In fact, it does very much look like that individual. Is this photographic evidence of a soul leaving its body? The individual was only 16 years old when he lost his life. While this could have been photoshopped, as some are suggesting in the comments, this story gives me goosebumps, and the image does look pretty convincing to me. What do you think? A YouTuber named Josh Washi is exploring an abandoned building that he suspects is haunted. Long ago, this was a school, but now is little more than a crumbling collection of rickety rooms waiting for a closer look. He and his group somehow make it all the way to the attic without falling through the floor. Hidden at the far end is a door to an unknown room that makes them nervous. His friend Nate goes to open it, and that's when the urban exploration goes wrong.
No, that door just opened by itself. That door just opened by itself.
At 3 minutes and 52 seconds, you can see Nate comes very close to touching the door, but ultimately does not, and is in fact moving away from the door when it mysteriously opens like a ghost is near. I think this video is real based on one thing. They were really worried about falling through the floor until they saw the door open and took off running, which could have gone very wrong. This ghost is hungry. Published by Pilot Error Podcast in December of 2020, this woman was finally able to capture on camera what had apparently been happening for a while. After hearing a noise in the kitchen, she grabs her camera and waits. That's when she sees this. The cupboard is opening just a little bit at first, then it opens a little wider, and then, instead of running away from the spirit, this woman runs toward it.
Roll open.
And once in the kitchen, things get worse. Is this poltergeist just inviting everyone to dinner? And will you attend? Should be an interesting enough meal. This couple is dedicated to, as their description states, the search of paranormal activity in places with terrifying histories, as is sometimes possible when investigating. Ghosts have followed investigators to their homes, and they believe someone they made contact with on a previous investigation did just that. On January 21st, 2021, they hosted a live stream to document what they believed was a haunting in their home, hoping to document evidence and find answers. They invited the public to join on their session. The first half of the investigation seems to produce little results, but something rather disturbing appears as they venture down the stairs. Through a glazed window overlooks the stairs, the figure of a woman can be seen staring towards the camera. At first glance, it can be easily mistaken for a painting, but when inspecting it closer, you can see there is actual 3D depth to it, something a painting would be impossible to have. The figure looks either like a woman with long dark hair or someone wearing a robe. To further prove it is not a painting, the same window is shown a few minutes later and the figure is gone. Furthermore, they venture outside to show the other side, and it is several feet above the ground, making it impossible for anyone to get up there without a ladder. Nothing around the window resembles the figure, as it has simply vanished. As they descend further down the stairs, an orb can be seen flying fast across the top left corner of the screen. Once they reach the bottom step, a loud, low exhale can be heard.
La esfera.
The sound is too low pitched to be either of the couple, as we could hear them breathe beforehand and it doesn't match. It is also possible it was the sound of something sliding, although we cannot see what or if anything moves. Unfortunately, the remainder of the video becomes uneventful and other apparent orbs can be easily explained. For example, while they are filming a mirror, a glowing orb-like spectacle can be seen flying around. However, when the camera's light is turned off, it disappears, meaning it was simply a glare from the light itself. It's terrifying to imagine something becoming attached to you and following you back to your home. It's one of the risks when going on investigations, meaning it is not for the faint of heart. It also shows how there are more than just the physical dangers on these adventures, with even professional investigators such as Ghost Adventures suffering from severe states of paranormal oppression and even possession. It goes as a warning for those who decide to take up the cause for themselves. Take heed heed and be aware of what you are getting into, even if you are a skeptic or non-believer. Respect the locations you are visiting. Communicating with the spirit world using candlelight is an old trick. The secret is to watch the flame to tell if a ghost is making it flicker or otherwise move differently. But if the candle starts doing this, the ghost is not even hinting anymore. Alright, so some strange activity is caught on camera when a candle moves on its own across the table. But look closely and you'll see the table looks to have been polished recently. The surface is very clean and reflective. Perhaps whatever cleaning agent he used on the table reduced the friction enough to make this object look like it was moved by a ghost. Or maybe I'm rationalizing a strange event because I'm scared and this is a real ghost pushing an object across a clean table. This video shows you never know what you might encounter next in the desert. Haley Steele was at Burning Man 2012 in Black Rock City, Nevada, when a massive dust devil formed right in front of her very eyes.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, that kid's gonna ride right through it.
Amazingly, you can see someone casually riding their bike as the massive cloud of dust surrounds him. If this was happening in front of me, I'd be hightailing it out of there. The last thing I want is dust in my eyes, ears, and nose. This CCTV footage comes from the London Dungeon, a famous tourist attraction in England that's rumored to be haunted. An employee is tending to their duties in the laundry room all alone. When they go to open the door to the washing machine, a hand reaches out and makes a grab at them. Weirder still is how the camera switches to static merely moments before this happens. Since technological malfunctions can often indicate the presence of the paranormal, and also given the location, I think this strange video could definitely be real, and if so, it's something that this employee will never be able to unsee. The historic Jefferson has plenty of haunting footage. This clip is one of the most chilling, captured by a guest staying in the doll room. The footage shows one of the room's many dolls coming to life. First, watch behind the pillow.
It just peers out like that for about a minute. That movement, though.
Something peers out. It's one of the dolls. A moment later, the doll falls over. This is the doll in question. The staff shares its creepy history.
It does have history to it. Typically, we'll put the doll here just to make it look kind of creaky, but we've had several guests say that the doll's not there, and we'll come and look, and the doll will be behind the chair. One time,
The doll is creepy just looking at it, but this footage on top of its history of innate creepiness ensures that I can't handle staying in the doll room. A YouTuber named Vision Quest Outdoors is exploring the Gettysburg field when he has what he believes is a real video of a ghost sighting. The video is pretty scary and I think he could be right. Let's take a look at the paranormal evidence and try to figure out what it was he and his friends say on that night.
What is that? Oh my God. What am I seeing? You know, no way there's a guy out here at 2 a.m.
According to the uploader, they turned around only to find the figure had mysteriously disappeared.
Champion, am I gonna backstage this time? So, first. But they didn't move. Swing around.
This is the footage from when they turned around, but unfortunately it's too dark to make out very much one way or another. I believe what he says is true because if I'm not mistaken, this footage is from the same location during the day. There are cannons lined up here, but no statue whatsoever. If this was the same location, then this definitely has to be a real ghost sighting caught on video. What if you were trailing an ambulance and you saw this in the rear window? This terrifying ghoul was caught on camera by a vehicle following the ambulance. Apart from the spirit, there appears to be two human passengers passengers in the back of the ambulance, likely EMTs. As the camera focuses in, the spirit's ghastly facial features appear for a moment before whoever's filming loses control of the camera, likely terrified about what they'd just seen. What would you do if you saw this in the back of an ambulance? It's probably safest to back off. Was this Chilean quake natural or extraterrestrial made? Published by Paranormal Planet in April of 2014, seconds before a tremor hit a coastal region of Chile, something was spotted in the sky. The short clip captures the Chilean coast. All is calm. As the cameraman scans the landscape, an unidentified aircraft shoots across the sky. A half-speed clip shows the object in more detail. It's tiny and black but has no other discernible features. It's simply moving too fast. After it passes, the earth immediately begins to shake. A girl hanging onto the fence sways back and forth, and the cameraman appears to fall to the ground. Many in the comments don't think this was an unidentified flying object, and some don't even think it was a quake. Mary Coday suggests it was a milli jet and it made a sonic boom or broke a sound barrier. Others think it was a bird. Is this real? Or is it all completely staged? We're left with more questions than answers with this one. Jackal365 goes exploring his old creepy attic the day after hearing scary noises all night. 1 minute and 55 seconds is when something is caught moving on camera. He reaches the back of the attic and strains his eyes in the darkness to see it.
See anything?
A face drops down in front of the camera. Apparently the creature was hanging above him the whole time. He could have simply held a mannequin head upside down in front of the camera to create that effect, but his terrified squeal says otherwise. Schwinn Protocol wants to remodel his dreary basement, which only has a dirt floor. After digging many layers down, he finds this rusty old entranceway that presumably extends even deeper. He doesn't really have a good feeling about this at all, but he needs to know everything about the basement before he can get the job done, so he has to see for himself what's on the other side. He lifts the heavy cement plug, and white orbs soon follow, though I guess they could also be dust particles. Either way, he is puzzled to find a wide cavern filled with darkness. As his light traces along the rough edges of the floor, he slowly begins to piece together some unnerving observations out loud.
That's probably about a 13 or 15 foot drop. So definitely a bigger person wouldn't be able to fit down there. Wouldn't even be able to fit a ladder down there though,
So basically, this is a deep hole with an entrance that's too small for an adult, but just the right size to squeeze through a child. I'm not sure what this was really used for, but I do agree that it's weird to have a random hole in your basement that's easy to fall into and tough, if not impossible, to get out. To be fair, the YouTuber later wrote in the description that he thinks it was part of a drainage system that's no longer in use. Maybe he's right, or maybe he's just trying to explain something that he wishes he never saw. Someone could have spent their entire childhood down there for all we know. YouTuber Tyler Blanchard says he's scientifically proven that ghosts are real. Let's see how. After hanging a painting, the crew enters the next room when this happens.
That is just me. Okay. That painting sketched me out too. Which painting? The flowers? And then it looks like somebody stepped. I swear to that was not me.
The painting looks securely hung, so it's mysterious how it would fly off the wall like that. Watch again. What's even stranger is it's on a wall that's not facing the walkway, so it's not like they brushed past the painting and caused it to fall. What do you think is going on here? Was the painting just hung poorly? Or did this team actually scientifically prove that ghosts are real? I think we need more evidence to make this theory law. After buying a cool LED hat for his daughter, this father took a short video to capture its glow, but he also managed to capture something mysterious in the background. Shared to TikTok by TikTok Paranormal. Watch the back hall behind the baby. A small, dark, shadowy creature makes a mad dash past the doorway. What is this thing? It doesn't look human, and yet it doesn't look animal either. It appears to be running in a human-like way, so my best guess would be a goblin or elf of some kind. What do you think is going on here? A perfectly normal eyeball is about to almost pop, and you'll never guess how. Don't try this. Ronnie Taslim pulls his lower lid as far down as it will go. His eye turns a nasty shade of red as he looks up, and with 3 fingers slowly presses the lower section out of the socket. With his eyeball bulging halfway out, he rolls his upper lip back like a shirt sleeve to reveal the full eye, and you'll never guess what happens from there. The entire eye is an angry red at this point, but instead of bursting and rolling down his cheek like I thought it would, the eye somehow turns normal looking again at 1 minute and 40 seconds. Ronnie is somehow able to alleviate the intense pressure, causing his eye to fill with red fluid, and stuffs it back into its socket before any lasting damage is done. My question, aside from how he is able to do this to begin with, is how many more times does he have left before his poor eye gives out and gushes all over the camera? Walking down an empty hallway can sometimes send shivers all over your body, especially when the hallway looks like this. Spurgburglar from Washington in the US uploaded this spooky video in 2016. He says that his flat is upstairs, and he makes his way through this hallway in the middle of the night 6 days a week. The hallway in and of itself is spooky. The sound on top of it is nothing short of ominous. The noise certainly is thumping and rhythmic like music, but it's unclear what it is or where it's coming from. It gets louder as the uploader approaches the end of the hallway and the beginning of a new one. A new sound enters into the mix, like a heart pounding. While the thumping declines, the heart pounding remains. Then you hear some sort of haunting music enter in faintly, before it escalates the closer he gets to the elevator. The video of the hallway also distorts a bit. Your heart races as you anticipate a jump scare from something unknown, but when he pushes the elevator button, the audio disappears. What could this possibly be? I don't know if I want to know. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit. While ghost hunting in Fort Langley, BC, Redditor official ECYT captured some creepy EVPs, but it was only when editing the footage that he discovered loads of other paranormal activity. First, introductions. Somehow the ghosts know the crew by name.
So, your name. It literally just said your name just now.
Wow.
Are you trying to talk to Gabriel? It said your name. That, out of all the names?
That's pretty specific.
Gabriel doesn't seem too impressed, honestly. I'd be freaking out in this situation, especially after seeing this.
You see that?
I saw something in that window just now.
In my opinion, the figure that appears to peek out from the side could just be the outline of another arching window on the opposite wall. The camera shifts, which could elicit the peeking motion, but the atmosphere remains creepy.
You heard that?
I heard that.
We just walked by there was like nothing over there.
Did you see it? If they really did see a shadow person, maybe I was wrong about that church figure. Maybe it followed them. Number 9. Snapchat filters are designed to recognize faces. So what does the app see here in YouTuber Sarah Grab's apartment?
Open your mouth.
Snapchat is recognizing faces all over her home, and they're not there. She later experiments with another filter.
On this side of me. Okay. Don't move.
And another filter.
You see how it does that? It makes you like big blockheaded and stuff. See?
And another one.
It's your mouth as your eyes. So your mouth is where the tan wall is. And there you go. When you open your mouth to do it, see?
And even one more.
So there you go. Wait, do that again. Open your mouth.
This one gets scary.
Okay, so open your mouth again.
The invisible face often appears at this angle against the wall. I feel like it could be misreading those picture frames as eyes and a nose, but others aren't so sure.
Open your mouth. Yep, open your mouth. And again. Open it.
I guess even ghosts like to snap. Jim Lin is visiting Harbin, Japan, and now faces bowl after bowl of gourmet insects. The pressure is on to sample the culture by eating as many different dishes as he can. At 4 minutes and 1 second, the juices of a plump cicada hits the back of his throat with a loud squirt.
Oh, let's go. Oh, let's go.
The insides look wet and green, and not like something I would look forward to trying. How would you even tell if this was cooked right? But there's still more bugs to eat. This oversized grasshopper looks more like a crayfish. They are in a busy market with music and people having conversations everywhere, and yet the crunch is louder than anything else going on. When in Rome, do as the Romans do is an age-old expression that means you should follow the rules of other cultures in their country, but I don't think everyone could handle this bug buffet. It may just make your jaw drop. Built around 1635, the Piranha Castle is said to be one of the most haunted places in Ukraine. Take a look at some of the best paranormal evidence ever taken out of the creepy castle.
Andriana! Andriana!
A ghostly figure appears in the window and waves at them before mysteriously disappearing. It's not a reflection of clouds because of how quick it fades in and out. The person filming calls out the name Adriana, who I think was the name of one of the king's many wives hundreds of years ago, and whose life was possibly taken by him. Or it's just good editing. Hard to say. This place is said to be absolutely flooded with supernatural forces, so who knows? Have you ever felt an evil energy you couldn't explain? The YouTube team, North Shore Paranormal, explores the Glore Psychiatric Museum. The museum is housed in the former State Lunatic Asylum No. 2, which opened in St. Joseph, Missouri in 1874. The museum sent me some historic photos, including this one I found the most chilling. This is the stomach contents of a patient here. As the North Shore Paranormal team explores, the building soon becomes alive.
Okay, that's the echo. Oh! Thank you! You're welcome.
After the EMF meter responds to their request, they move to the 3rd floor, where they receive this worrisome message. On the second floor, they start to hear things.
Did you just make that noise? No, not you. I heard a click over here, and now the EMF's going off.
In one room, they notice two mirrors facing each other. This is often believed to be a vortex between two worlds, and that appears to come up in their communication.
Are you scared of Violet?
Vortex.
Vortex? Vortex? Where's the vortex here? Am I standing in one?
Would you consider those two mirrors?
Oh my. Oh my.
Perhaps the vortex has allowed spirits or energies to pass in and out of this haunting museum. They're in limbo, never able to return home, because where is their home now? I can't answer that question, but I can say it's making me never want to leave mine. Some video. Who would win in a swamp fight? A deer or an alligator? You're about to see. Published by Hazy Season in June of 2019. This scary video was captured at Squaw Creek Reservoir in Glen Rose, Texas. At first, the fisherman thinks he's looking at a huge fish.
Look at those. What is that? Is that a dead fish?
But as he gets closer, he realizes it's a deer in the water. The deer is no longer alive, and it's being pulled down into the water's depths.
Looks like a deer, dude. It's a dead deer. Holy
by something that is so far unseen. The crew is wondering what's gotten hold of it. They watch for a moment and soon realize a gator's got him. They then let nature take its course.
dude, what happened? Did it just like fall down this hill? Holy.
Although we probably all could have guessed that the gator would win this battle, I'm sure we were all rooting for the underdog. Redditor Twisted Desire doesn't know what to think after seeing this in her backyard. Upon receiving an alert that there was movement at her back door, this is what the notification pulled up. To me, it almost looks like the darkness is breathing. The Redditor says there were no outside lights on. Some think it's just fog. Others see a demonic face appearing there. Do you see it? I honestly see it too, but I think that may just be pareidolia. However, I do think there's an energy in the darkness making itself known. Is it good or bad? Only time will tell. Do you hear that? Published by Indra Saputra Official in April of 2022. Someone is singing in this abandoned building. As Indra flashes his flashlight in the room, speaking to the voice, the sing-song continues for a moment, but then all is quiet.
Setelah gue gak bisa bro, aku gak main di center. Nah, katanya lama.
But then, when Indra tries to open the door, he can't get out. His camera light goes out and then starts flashing. As he turns around in the empty room, it's no longer empty. The light goes off again, and Indra is singing in the dark by himself for a time. The ghost girl is gone. What frights does this place hold? A demon sing-along doesn't sound like a good idea. This man is panicking, and he has reason to. Published by Hayalet Videolari in November of 2013. The creepy footage he captured will have you on edge. Though there's no context to this clip, the man is in a room alone, and he's very much afraid.
Guys, this is the area. But I've seen a spirit roaming freely.
What of? We're not sure yet, until...
Hey, are you there? Are you there inside? Oh my God. Oh my God.
After freaking out some more, the man wheels around the frosted window panel, and there's no one behind it. To whom does this hand belong? I'd wager the invisible man. A family's CCTV camera captured this mysterious creature outside their home. It looks to me like a little goblin. Its creeping, hunched over movement is unnerving. It doesn't do anything remarkable, but skulks out of sight. Is it a rake? A house elf? I agree with Orlando. It definitely looks like this. This YouTuber shakily records their apartment while inspecting every last corner. It's obvious that they no longer feel safe here and want to record for proof. Nothing is out of the ordinary until they silently cross into the bedroom, and that's when the horror is revealed. A girl with long black hair over her face sits crumpled on the floor. Look again and you'll see that even her arms and feet have no detail at all, like a silhouette. When he checks again to make sure he is not seeing things, he's surprised to find she is all gone. This was submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Skateboard Chris. The Redditor wrote, "I accidentally deleted the raw video and not the TikTok that automatically saved, but this is the second time I've caught a light switch turning off and on by itself. My dog reacts too, and when the video zooms in, it does appear that the light switches turn on and off of their own accord." Hawaii Sunburnt 20 commented, "I would be taking apart that light switch. Would you be curious enough to do the same? I'd be getting far away from this haunted house." With a Ouija board in hand, a YouTuber named Contagious Noise takes her girlfriend and her sister to an old barn that's just beyond city limits. They are positive that this barn is very haunted and therefore the perfect place to contact the other side. The group laughs and carries on playfully at first, but it isn't long before the situation grows alarmingly serious. Tell me if it really looks like the pointer is moving all by itself here.
On my grandma, I'm not doing it. Garrett?
I swear on everything. I'm not. Look at my fingers. Are.
Soon they contact the spirit of a 4-year-old who could possibly be named Ryan. They are trying to ask it more questions when out of nowhere it spells out the name Grace, which is the name of one of the girls. The spirit doesn't seem to want to give any real answers. Sometimes the Ouija board simply spells letters at random. Just when they get the feeling that a spirit is messing with them, a random noise confirms their suspicions.
Or ask who the 4-year-old was. Why they're here?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Each one of them promises that they are not playing a joke and they decide to try again. This time the Ouija board spells out a single word.
Help. Say goodbye.
The world is filled with lost radio signals from long ago. One of these many mystery stations was this broadcast from East Germany that started in the 1970s. We still don't know what it was, only that it sounded like it could drive a person to madness if they listened for long enough. Every so often, the overwhelming wall of noise would give way to a group of men singing in twisted voices. Maybe it's just me, but this almost sounds like some kind of ancient ritual or chant. The broadcast abruptly stopped in 1990 after about 20 years. Give me your best guess as to what this broadcast was used for, because I haven't the slightest clue. Cemeteries are, of course, a hotbed for paranormal activity. That's why YouTuber Dalen Spratt enters these hallowed grounds to communicate with the spirits there. In this video, he takes viewers to a graveyard in Ballinger, Texas, but before he can attempt his communication, he captures this mysterious activity on camera.
We don't do spirit box sessions with people that, just out of respect for family members, man, that are just passed. Although I would really, y'all, did that flower just fall?
Yes, it did just fall, but was it blown over by the wind? Or is this a message from the beyond? Dalen thinks it's the second option.
Y'all, I had to go back and look at that, because I'm looking through the camera, and I was like, did that, y'all, I'm stumbling on my words now. Did that bouquet of flowers just fall?
Dalen then walks over and respectfully places the bouquet upright again. Well, I am skeptical that this was a message from the departed, because it does seem like a windy day. I still have mad respect for Dalen's response. His compassion here is a great example of how to treat those who may not yet have crossed over. This one took me a few tries before I could see what they were talking about. Watch the shoulder lane on the left, and soon you'll see the shadowy outline of a mysterious figure.
Was that a person?
I have little doubt that this video is real and not edited, so the question becomes whether or not this was an actual spirit. Notice how the figure is devoid of all features, a strong sign of the paranormal, and maybe it's just because they are passing by at a high rate of speed, but I can almost see right through them. The entire lower half of their body is practically invisible. This dog's owner says it can see a ghost in the same hallway that they are in.
It's okay.
Her dog is definitely looking at something it doesn't want to go near at all. It keeps a wide distance and absolutely refuses to go past this line.
Come on. Come on. Come here. Come here.
Listen, when your full-grown dog is barking nervously and actually backing towards the door to get away, it's time to get the heck out of that room yourself. But at 36 seconds, the dog does kind of look over to a framed picture on the wall. Maybe it saw its own reflection in the surface and started freaking out. But that's just my guess. In a dark tunnel, no one can hear you scream, except for maybe the odd urban explorer wandering through that tunnel. Cringy Parkour published this footage in May of 2017 writing, "I heard like screeching or something in the tunnel and I want to go check it out. At first I thought it was like a pig or something. But what I record on the camera obviously was not a pig." The clip shows this YouTuber marching quickly through the dark tunnel ahead. There's water at the base of the tunnel, random graffiti on the walls, and it seems like it should be empty. What is this sound then? It doesn't sound like a scream. There's something lurking around this haunted place, shared by TikToker The King Horror. The kid who saw it with his own eyes cried in fear. After racing far away from the place, they turn back, and then they see this.
Ravi,
This hooded figure is something nightmares are made of, and he's the perfect villain for bedtime. Believe it or not, this doll is scarier than she looks. Published by Rota X in November of 2020, they encounter this creepy doll directly upon entering, covered in red. Let's hope that's paint. And then this happens. After they're running away as fast as they can from the demon doll, they realize a presence is still with them. It makes itself known via the EMF meter. Has whatever possessed that doll latched onto them? Time to call an exorcist. This strange sighting in the sky was caught on camera flying over the Mexican town of Tepoztlan, and it's really been freaking people out. This strange drone-like object changes colors multiple times, and I don't think it's colored lights. It looks like the body itself is somehow shifting. At 25 seconds, it briefly becomes red before switching back to a more normal looking color. Those strange lights look too weird to be LED tail lights to me, and if you look closely, shortly before it descends soundlessly behind the trees, it actually turns bright green. This unsolved CCTV video shows a man struggling to drag something heavy down the steps late at night. As he makes a turn, you can see he's pulling a black bag that's quite large out of view. While this is happening, somebody who is staying late at the office happens to see him, which is how I guess this videotape was reported and later archived for further investigation. Nothing else happens until 42 minutes later when the incident repeats itself. The creepy man drags another mysterious black bag down the steps and out the door. At 10 seconds, you get a better look and it definitely looks like a garbage bag to me. I really hope that this person wasn't dragging two people out, but that's exactly what it looks like happens. Maybe there's a good alternate explanation, but I have no idea why this guest would wait until the middle of the night to remove these objects from his room and never return. This team is exploring the ranch of an alleged skinwalker. Published by KBC Cazadores de Fantasmas in April of 2022, the cameraman is quick to sense something lurking around them in the wilderness.
Ei, ei, ei! Vocês escutaram? Uma voz.
As they move on, they again sense something. Further along, they think they hear a sound and start to rush forward.
Meu Deus.
Still finding nothing, at last, they arrive at these abandoned ruins. While inside the ruins, they hear a noise again outside. Later, back out in the wilderness, their EMF meter is triggered. Whose energy are they sensing here?
Obrigado, moço.
Quem foi você que chegou aqui perto?
Ó, atrás de mim agora.
Please, foca aí, foca aí, foca aí.
Again, someone or something is in the vicinity. Is it the skinwalker? As day turns to night, paranoia kicks in. The legendary creature might be skulking anywhere in this forest. Should this team stick around to find out? I would have already been gone.
Fica junto, gente. Fica junto. Pega no Luciano, pega no Luciano. Vê, ó. Se na mão. Tá andando aí à frente, ó.
This house is supposedly haunted, and the family room reportedly has the most activity out of anywhere. As you can see in this close-up shot, there is nothing out of the ordinary about this mirror at all. But once the paranormal investigation is underway, a woman's colorless face appears in the upper left quadrant. She is staring directly at the camera with two black holes for eyes. her thin lips and nose clearly visible. As far as I can see, there is nothing in the room that could cast such a strangely vivid reflection. In this ghost investing collaboration, members of the Holy Walkers, Urban Ghost Urban Explorations, and 539 Productions team up to check out some abandoned properties in the woods at night. They are close friends, and so it becomes a lighthearted exploration full of laughs, but they do miss two things. One of them happens during a passing moment of silence.
You can see a Joe in his native environment.
I don't know what that is, but I do know it sounds large and close by, and during this exact moment appears two green eyes that look like they could be leaves at first, except they aren't touching the tree next to it, and they aren't pine needles like the rest. Believe it or not, this same face appears behind a screen window exactly 5 minutes and 10 seconds later, so I don't think they necessarily found a ghost, but something was probably out there with them, and if they ever return, they might be unlucky enough to find it again, and next time it might do more than just watch. If you find Sally selling seashells by the seashore, don't buy them. This creepy shell was found full of strange creatures.
We found this weird looking thing stuck on a shelf on the beach, and look what it does. It like moved.
Not really doing anything now. So it's not real active here. The camera shy.
At first glance, they look like several closed eyelids, but they are bubbling. As the girls continue to inspect it, you see several of the creatures move.
But it's cool. But it's like what is this? Oh, I touched it and it moved.
Many in the comments say these are barnacles. I've never seen a barnacle before, but after a little research, I think that assessment is spot on. Now that I've seen them, they're a lot creepier than I'd ever imagined. A very similar sounding shriek to the so-called cougar. This one claims the sound is coming from none other than a monster from traditional Latin America folklore known as La Llorona. According to legend, La Llorona was the unloved mother of her two sons. Her husband loved his sons more than her, and also had an affair with another woman, causing La Llorona to break. She is said to have taken the lives of her two boys in a river in a rage, following them in grief by taking her own alongside their bodies. Now she wanders the earth in search of the souls of her sons. The terrifying wailing of her grief is heard throughout Latin America. Those who hear her cries are said to face misfortune or even have their lives taken, so maybe just to be on the safe side, turn down the volume for this one. Published to YouTube in September of 2018, the horrifying demonic scream at the start of the video definitely doesn't sound human. In fact, it makes you want to urge whoever is filming to get someplace safe, fast. Instead, he films outside on the rain-filled streets at night as La Llorona screeches demonically in an animalistic cry. Shortly after, a more human-like women's weeping is heard. The man approaches the phantom voice in the darkness. It's difficult to make out a figure in all this, but he speaks to her, and she responds, which makes one think this is a real human woman making these sounds, not La Llorona after all.
¿Tienes dulce? ¿Tu esposa?
After a while of the man chatting back and forth with her and then answering his radio, the woman falls silent. Barry in the comments says, I understand Spanish. She seems to have multiple personalities. Was that inhuman sound made by a human person? Someone with multiple personalities? Perhaps someone possessed? Or is this La Llorona in the flesh? If you ever find yourself swimming with the fishes, you'd better hope they're not piranhas. The bite force of a black piranha is incredibly powerful. It's 3 times as strong as an American alligator and 30 times stronger than its own weight. Point being, no dentist would want to work on these chompers. This video shows just how effective a piranha bite can be. Published in May of 2011, this bite test was administered in Ecuador. Holding a piranha in one hand and a stick in the other, the man brings the stick near the piranha's mouth and the fish easily and instantly snips like a pair of scissors. There's no question about it. If given a chance, the seemingly innocent fish will take more than a bite out of you. It may take a limb. A phantom drifts past, never to be seen or heard from again. Published by Tammy Jackson in December of 2019. This Ring camera footage captured something incredibly eerie in this person's yard. The footage shows a pale, full-bodied figure drifting across the yard. No features are discernible. It then appears to vanish. That's when the motion-activated lights on the garage are triggered. They shine brightly, casting light all across the yard, but there's nothing there. A house light also appears to be triggered, but still nothing else appears in the yard. Do ghosts trigger motion sensors? If not a ghost, who is this? I guess we'll never know for sure. Here's a bit of universal advice that applies to everyone, no matter which country you're in. If you and your friends are thinking about exploring some creepy haunted abandoned places, just don't. It could save your life. This YouTuber went exploring these abandoned houses in Egypt and caught some scary stuff on camera that left him and his friends running for their lives. The group has a bad feeling and should have left early, but they keep exploring because no one wants the shame that comes with being the most scared. They're looking for a way into this house but never get the chance.
صح كده خاف اصطادنا. طب قاعدة كده في المجال اختفى ولا ايه؟ بص يا جدعان كده هنا الشاب صح حد انور عليه انور عليه
They still can't believe what they are seeing, so they take one last final look. The figure is still there and they're still scared. When hiding in a field doesn't work, they decide to run deeper into the forest. Their plan works and they vow never to return to this area again, and for good reason. I don't know if there really was someone who they didn't know living in this place, or if it was just one of their friends. It's probably a skit though, because of how slow the person chasing them walks. If you have a sibling, then they've likely played practical jokes on you before, but what happens when the impractical is not a joke? In this video, something is seen floating on the other side of the room. As the boys grow increasingly panicked, a toy car is thrown at the younger brother, while another toy car comes flying towards the older brother, seemingly of its own accord. The video cuts out and then resumes as the brothers are arguing with each other in Malay, perhaps blaming each other for the paranormal activity. The younger brother is being yelled at, and he screams back in anger before leaving the room. The older brother looks concerned, and when they go check on him, they find a figure standing on the toilet hanging upside down. After shouting out, one of the older brothers rushes back into the dining room, and it seems the paranormal is not over yet. A chair shoves out from under the table on its own. He grabs his phone, while the other brother attempts to restrain the child. That's where the video ends. While many in the comments are doubtful of this video's authenticity, some are all in saying this is real. Facebook user Mohammed Zarif Amin is one of the latter, writing, "All of you who comment says this is all an act. Just be careful if he wants to disturb you. We have to believe this smooth creature exists. I guess if we don't believe, we are more vulnerable." Most ghosts don't ask for permission, they just let themselves in. Published in January of 2022, Amitav Paranormal Tech YT writes that during her last live stream, her REM pod activated, so she decided to leave some equipment on during the night. She also left her security cameras on. Here's what they captured. The door of the room swings open, apparently letting no one in. A light to the side on a table then turns on and blinking can be seen throughout the room. What just let itself in? Is it something to be feared? Either way, it definitely wants itself to be known. The haunted Greystone Manor. YouTube team Paranormal of Watertown POW experienced some strong poltergeist activity. They asked the spirit to play a game.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Turn around. Oh. You wanna play some pool?
And later, the REM pod goes off like mad.
Can you stop touching that for a minute?
Thank you.
It even seems to be listening to them. As they're using other devices, the spirit pushes a ball on the floor.
Oh, that just spiked again.
Oh,
That ball.
thank you.
This is just a taste of the activity the team captured at Greystone Manor. It certainly seems like a haunted location to me. I don't know about you, but I'm tuning in for more. YouTube team Amitav Paranormal Tech YT explore this abandoned place when they capture a spirit manifesting on camera. Upon entering, they hear a banging sound. This is followed by a door closing. More racket is heard as the REM pod goes off. As they stand in the darkness, the banging continues. Not long after, a spirit manifests on this infrared camera. The cameraman leaves the cell, and when he tries to re-enter, he finds he's no longer welcome. In fact, no one is welcome. When they do not leave, the spirit doesn't let up. It has one last scare for the crew, and this one sends them packing. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how they stuck around this long. This place is certainly haunted, and they're lucky to make it out alive. A YouTuber named Talk to Trending records a ghost video in Tamil, India, at a haunted fort. An extremely powerful spirit is said to reside here, and the ghost hunters can't resist the chance to explore the abandoned building for paranormal traces.
நான் என்னோட கேமராமேன்ட்ட போறேன். நான் இங்க தனியா நின்னுட்டு இருக்கேன். சுத்தி சத்தம் எதற்கு? What's wrong there?
As they talk more about the haunted place, a ghostly apparition materializes behind them. It looks to be in the shape of a person wearing robes from head to toe, and when it moves out of sight, the ghost hunter looks over his shoulder where it would have been. I think this could be his paranormal sixth sense kicking in to keep him safe, but this could also simply be the way his flashlight plays against the stone wall behind him. Although it's weird that it takes such a human-like shape, tell me what explanation you think is true. Did you ever pull an all-nighter in a haunted house? Paranormal investigators Dennis and Tim pair up as Nerve Paranormal to spend the night in this haunted place. They set up cameras and a tape recorder inside. First, a shadow in the corner is seen.
Стояла будто бы тень вот так в углу. Да? Я тебе что хочу сказать-то? Смотри. Смотри. Я эту фигню закрыл.
Once they have the cameras positioned, they go to sleep.
Ну все, в принципе. Так, заснуть. Не знаю, после этого всего.
Something immediately messes with their camera. And then their lights. Another camera captures something entering their room. You're probably asking yourself, how could they sleep through all that racket? Well, they won't sleep through this. There's nothing inside, but there definitely is, and I think Dennis and Tim won't be getting any more sleep tonight. This video does not include a haunted Ouija board per se, but a woman named Carmela as she is being tormented by spirits unleashed from a Ouija board. Now she is being rushed to the hospital as she says strange and evil things, her face twisting as tightly as the muscles will allow. When the emergency medical technicians tell her to wake up, she sits up and an evil spirit appears to speak through her. Carmela lets her head drop back and begins to thrash back and forth, while the spirit that's inside of her continues to say cryptic messages. The video is believed to come from Spain, but not much else is known. I highly doubt that this has been staged because this looks like a real medical emergency, so she is probably either suffering from a delusion or she really was ravaged by spirits. They say that you can become possessed if you do not properly banish the ghosts at the end of the Ouija board summoning, so maybe that's what happened to poor Carmela. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.